Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we try to pull out the key insights from, well, a whole bunch of sources to help you get up to speed quickly. Today, we're going to a place that's kind of a paradox. Picture Bardstown, Kentucky. It's beautiful, right? Famous as the Bourbon capital, always making lists of America's most charming small towns. You know, the kind of place you imagine being really peaceful, really quiet.
Exactly. Idyllic, almost.
But underneath that surface, Bardstown's got this really dark, unsettling side. For years now, this community, which is pretty tight-knit, has been dealing with these baffling unsolved murders and disappearances. And they seem, they seem connected somehow. So, okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're taking a deep dive into what's known as the Bardstown murders, or sometimes the Nelson County murders. We're going to lay out what we know, talk about the victims, look at these kind of eerie links, and explore some of the theories that have bubbled up.
And what's fascinating here is just how unusual it is, you know, to have this cluster of unsolved cases, serious cases, in a town that size. Bardstown's only got, 14,000 people?
Right, not a huge city.
Not at all. So these aren't just random events lost in urban sprawl. They've created this real sense of fear, this ongoing mystery that's honestly changed how people there feel about their own town, their safety.
Okay, so the timeline really kicks off in 2013.
Yeah.
That's when the peace was just shattered. May 25th, 2013, a 33-year-old Bardstown police officer, Jason Ellis, was ambushed, murdered.
Yeah, Officer Ellis, he'd been on the force for 7 years, part of the K-9 unit. Seemed like a really respected guy.
Definitely. He was driving home after his shift. It was after midnight.
Yeah.
And he comes across these freshly cut tree limbs blocking the exit ramp off the Bluegrass Parkway.
Just looks like debris he needs to clear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he gets out of his cruiser to move them, and that's when he was shot. Multiple times. With a 12-gauge shotgun.
It was just brutal and cold. Investigators figured out pretty quickly he never even drew a service weapon. It was still holstered. This wasn't some confrontation gone wrong. It was planned. An execution, really. And for Bardstown, that was a terrible first. The first police officer ever killed in the line of duty there.
Wow. Imagine the shockwaves.
Oh, absolutely. Instantly.
And the 911 call, it actually came from a couple of other drivers who'd also stopped because of the branches. They found him. Police knew right away those branches weren't an accident. They were deliberately placed there, a trap.
Yeah.
So here's where it gets really interesting. Police quickly determined this was premeditated murder, though they weren't certain if Officer Ellis was the specific target or if any officer stopping there would have been attacked.
And that uncertainty itself is terrifying. You know, the idea that law enforcement is being targeted like that so deliberately in a small town, it sets a really chilling tone.
For sure. And what does that do to a community in unsolved police murder?
Well, it's huge. Beyond the grief, it hits trust hard, you know? Trust in safety, trust in the institutions meant to protect you. It plants the seed of fear, of doubt that just lingers.
Makes sense.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the sheer brazenness of this act and the fact that it remains unsolved truly set a chilling precedent for what was to follow. It kind of opened the door to this darkness.
And tragically, it didn't stop there. Bardstown was still reeling from the Ellis murder when, barely a year later, April 2014, terror strikes again. This time, it was Kathy Netherland, who was 48, a special ed teacher at Bardstown Elementary, and her 16-year-old daughter, Samantha.
It's just awful. Kathy's father found them. She hadn't shown up for work, so he went to check.
In the scene, it was horrific. Kathy had been shot several times. Samantha was bludgeoned, and both had their throats cut.
The level of violence is just staggering. And again, in this small community where Kathy taught kids, Samantha was known, the impact was just devastating. Fear, grief, palpable.
Absolutely. And again, frustratingly, almost no information, no clear motive, no suspects named. The Kentucky State Police were asking people for any dash camera security footage from around the area, just grasping for anything.
Right.
The only real clue they released was this blurry photo from a gas station, a black Chevy Impala. They thought the driver might know something, but nothing ever came of it, publicly at least.
And that lack of answers just feeds the fear, doesn't it? This raises an important question. 2 horrific, unsolved cases within a year, now involving a mother and a child. The fear in the community must have been palpable, and the scarcity of clues like that single blurry photo only deepened the mystery. People start wondering, you know, what is going on here?
Exactly. And then the pattern continues. July 2015. So just over a year after the Netherlands, another disappearance. This time, 35-year-old Crystal Rogers. Last seen July 3rd. At the house she shared with her boyfriend, Brooks Hawk. Her mom reported her missing 2 days later. Said she just panicked immediately, felt something was wrong.
That maternal instinct, you hear about it so often in these cases. It's powerful.
It really seems to be. And the details around Crystal's disappearance, they were instantly alarming. Her car, found abandoned on the Bluegrass Parkway.
The same road where Officer Ellis was killed.
The exact same road, flat tire. And her keys, her phone, her purse, all still inside the car.
Which is never a good sign. People don't just walk away from all their essentials like that.
Right. And here's a crucial bit. Crystal apparently had plans. She was starting a new job, and she told her mom she was planning to leave Brooks Hawk.
Ah, okay.
Her mother, Sherry Ballard, she voiced suspicions about Brooks right from the start. And there's another layer. Crystal's great-aunt, Sherry Barnes, also vanished back in 1979. Another unsolved case in the family history.
Wow. That's a lot of tragedy for one family.
It is. So what does this all mean for Crystal? Her mother, Sherry Ballard, voiced immediate suspicions about Crystal's boyfriend, Brooks Hawk, and even believed Crystal might have overheard something related to Officer Ellis's murder.
Right. The boyfriend is often the first person police look at when someone disappears, especially if there were plans to leave. What's fascinating here is the pattern of suspicion, particularly when combined with the prior unsolved cases. The details about her car being found on the same road as Officer Ellis's murder start to create these unsettling echoes.
Yeah.
It starts to feel less like coincidence.
And then there's the whole issue with Brooks Hawk's brother, Nick Hawk. He was a Bardstown police officer.
Yes, I remember this part.
He was fired.
Uh-huh.
To 6 months after Crystal went missing. Why? Because he allegedly interfered with the investigation, tipped off his brother Brooks that detectives were coming to talk to him, told him not to cooperate.
There was reportedly a phone call Nick made to Brooks during an interrogation.
That's the story. Apparently told him something that made Brooks clam up. Nick maintained he was just trying to advise his brother, protect his rights. But the department fired him for it.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Alleged interference from inside the police department itself. It just poisons the well, doesn't it? It damages trust massively. It makes people hesitant to talk. It clouds everything.
Absolutely. And the story doesn't end there. Just over a year after Crystal disappeared, her father, Tommy Ballard, met his own tragic end, November 19th, 2016.
Tommy, he'd been searching tirelessly for Crystal, hadn't he?
Relentlessly. He was out hunting that day on family property with his 11-year-old grandson, and he was shot, fatally, in the chest. Police ruled out the grandson as the shooter. But here's the thing. They didn't classify Tommy's death as a homicide. They left it open, possibly an accident.
An accident while hunting, a year after his daughter vanishes under suspicious circumstances, and he's leading the charge to find her.
Exactly. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
A hunting accident might seem plausible on its own, but coming just over a year after his daughter's disappearance, and with his relentless investigation into her case, it raises some serious questions about mere coincidence.
The family certainly didn't buy it. Crystal's mother, Sherry, said flat out she knew it wasn't an accident. She called Tommy the investigator. He was the one pushing, putting up billboards, keeping Crystal's name out there.
Yeah. A family friend, Kim Abel, was quoted saying something like, "Nobody she knows believes it was an accident."
Right. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it certainly appears that Tommy's persistent search for answers may have made him a target, regardless of the official classification. That perception in the community is powerful, whether it's officially labeled homicide or not. People felt he was silenced.
It's chilling. So you have these 5 people: Officer Ellis, Kathy and Samantha Netherland, Crystal Rogers, Tommy Ballard. All dead or missing under violent or deeply suspicious circumstances within about 3.5 years in this one small town.
It's staggering.
So naturally, people started looking for connections. Theories started flying. One big one involves drugs. Kentucky's had its struggles with drug epidemics, right? So a lot of people think these cases might be tied to some kind of drug operation. There was even an anonymous inmate who claimed Officer Ellis was targeted because he was getting close to busting a ring that burglarized businesses and storage units, stealing antiques, drugs, that sort of thing.
Right. I read about that claim. The inmate alleged, 4 men were hired for the hit?
Yeah. Unverified, of course. But it paints a picture of something organized.
It certainly does. Suggests a level of criminal enterprise maybe people didn't expect there.
And adding to that, just weeks after Ellis was killed, Bardstown PD got threats. A phone call, a letter to the chief, both saying basically, what happened to Officer Ellis will happen again.
Wow. So direct intimidation aimed at the police force.
Seems like it. Then there's the theory trying to link the Netherlands and Crystal Rogers to Officer Ellis, like maybe they were witnesses.
How so?
Well, Amy Ellis, Jason's widow, she worked at the same elementary school as Kathy Netherland, and Kathy actually taught one of Jason Ellis's sons.
Oh, okay, a direct connection there.
Yeah. So the speculation is maybe Kathy or Samantha saw something related to the Ellis murder. Or maybe they knew something, overheard something.
Plausible, tragically. Even a small piece of information could be dangerous in that context.
And with Crystal Rogers, her car being found on the same road. Her mom strongly suspected Crystal might have learned something she wasn't supposed to know about Ellis's death or whatever was behind it.
The location is just too specific to ignore easily.
And then, of course, you have the whole situation with Brooks Huckus and his brother Nick, the cop who got fired for allegedly interfering. That casts suspicion directly on Brooks and Crystal's disappearance and raises questions about potential cover-ups.
Right. That interference is a huge red flag in itself, regardless of Brooks's guilt or innocence. It obstructs the truth.
And finally, Tommy Ballard. The overwhelming feeling among many is that he was killed simply because he wouldn't stop digging into Crystal's case. He wouldn't let it go cold. He was too persistent.
He became a problem for someone.
That's the theory. Silence for seeking justice for his daughter.
What's fascinating here is how these various pieces of information, though many remain unproven and circumstantial, start to weave a coherent, unsettling narrative. They don't necessarily feel like separate incidents anymore, do they?
Not at all. It feels like threads pulling together even if you can't see the whole tapestry.
Exactly. This raises an important question. How many separate yet interconnected criminal elements could be operating with such impunity in a town this size to produce this many unsolved tragedies? You start thinking about drugs, maybe corruption, definitely violence.
Yeah.
It's a complex web.
And maybe the small town nature cuts both ways. Easier for secrets to be kept, maybe.
That's definitely a possibility. In tight-knit communities, sometimes silence can be enforced more effectively. Fear can be a powerful motivator.
So the Bardstown murders. It's just this incredibly complex, deeply disturbing series of events. It's left this community searching, hoping for answers, for justice, for years now. And these cases, they're still cold, officially unsolved, leaving families just in limbo, grieving without closure. And the town itself lives with this chilling uncertainty, knowing that whoever did these things might still be there. So as you reflect on this deep dive, think about that ripple effect. One unsolved crime seems to have set off this cascade of tragedy in Bardstown. It blurs the lines, accident, revenge, maybe something much bigger, more sinister. What would it even take at this point to crack these cases wide open when the connections seem so close, but the proof just isn't there?
It's a tough question, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, the Bardstown story serves as a stark reminder of how critical both persistent investigation and public memory are in the pursuit of justice for victims and their families. Keeping these stories alive, asking the hard questions, even years later, it matters. It
absolutely does. Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the Bardstown murders. We hope it's given you some insight into the known facts and the many, many unanswered questions. Stay curious, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.